Okay, hi everyone. Today I'm gonna tell you how to write less code and be happy. We're gonna talk about serverless and FireBase. We'll start with the first one. So serverless allows you to build application without having to manage the infrastructure. So your code still runs on a server, but there is third-party companies who scale it and maintain servers. So the first step you need to do to get to serverless is to get rid of servers. And
Next page.
yeah, next page. So the second one is to listen to my presentation. Let's start with the example. So that's called a Mundo app. That's a to-do list. That's Kanban board. That's calendar and email client, all within a single app. And there are just two developers who work on this project. How is it possible? Let's look at how it works. So they're using GitHub Pages and Cloudflare for hosting. They using Google Drive Realtime API for collaboration and for data storage. And they use Gmail, Google Calendar, and Google Drive API for everything else. So you just use your Google account to log in and you get all the features. And these developers sleep well at night because Google cares about passwords and they don't store any of our data on their servers or whatever. So what are the main benefits of serverless? The first one is infinite scaling. So if from the previous example, Moodle, they use Google Drive API and they don't pay anything, and if they have 10 million of users, they won't pay anything. So that's just users use their Google Drive. If we use, for example, FireBase, we'll pay as we go. So we have hundreds of users, we will pay for hundreds of users, and more. So you hire fewer people because you don't need to write a backend. You do less work, and therefore you have fewer bugs. And you don't store users' data and users' passwords, so you sleep well at night. So what are the drawbacks? That's loss of server optimization. So you just download this big HTML file and big JS bundle, and that's bad. But that's how it works. So the second one is dependency on third-party services. So big companies have a tendency to close their services. They'll give you some time, for example, half a year or a year before they will close it, but you can't be sure if the service will work for 5 years and you can build your service on or your product on this platform. So the third one is third-party platforms have their limits. And sometimes it may be hard to implement some feature because of these limits. And maybe you will need a small server for settings and or billings. That's how Moodle works. So they do almost all of their stuff on client, but they use a small server for storing settings and storing and billing to get payments. So the next slide. Oh, yeah, it works. FireBase. When somebody says FireBase, it mostly refers to the real-time database. But they had an update, the major update, about a month ago, and they added a lot of new features. So let's move to them. Could you read? Okay, I read it for you. So the first one is real-time database, and that's the main of their products. The second one is cloud storage, that you may store your files and your images there. Crash reporting for iOS and Android. They built really great statistics with these crash reports. They provide hosting, they provide test lab. Test lab is kind of a Google form with lots of Android devices, so you don't need to buy this farm of devices, you just need to use this test lab and your apps will be tested on a bunch of Android devices. They have cloud functions. Cloud functions is something like containers where you can run your code. and they have performance monitoring for iOS and Android apps. And they also have a lot of stuff for growing and engaging the audience, for example, analytics, and as I understand, it doesn't have any difference from Google Analytics, but they just added it to FireBase console, so you may use Google Analytics or you may use this FireBase Analytics. That's invites. So do you remember this Uber hype when it just came to review, and this promo codes? That's already implemented in FireBase, so you don't need to write this code. They have app indexing. You just need to write a manifest, and your app will appear in Google search. And they have remote config. Remote config is a nice thing for A/B testing. So you don't need to deploy a new version of your app. You can just change the JSON file, and your app will be updated. So let's go further. So about real-time database. All the data is stored in object in JSON, and all the data is stored in JSON. So you may take, but you don't need to take all the JSON. You could just take some part of it if you need, and you can add event listener to listen for values change or path change. For example, there is a path here, and you may add event listener to listen to just to this path. So if it will be updated on FireBase, all of your users get an update. It also works offline. So if device goes offline and the user makes some changes, as soon as device will go online, the changes will be synchronized to FireBase. And they read, if you want to retrieve some data from here, it supports queries and sorting and filtering. And here's a simple code that adds new posts to the database. That's pretty everything. Here are some more resources to get more about Moodle architecture and about FireBase products and docs. Thanks.
Any questions?
Any questions?
What about cloud messaging?
Yeah, cloud messaging. So
It's like a push notification?
yeah.
Are there any larger applications except for Moodle built on top of FireBase?
Yeah, there are a lot of applications, and there is a list on their website. So I could just open the list after this presentation and show you.
So what about when you add a server for billing and some different things? What do you get? Do you still get any benefits from using FireBase?
Yeah. So for example, if you build a product like Moodle, to-do list and on board without serverless, you need more and more servers and more capacities, while the number of your users is growing.
Okay.
But when you use serverless, there is Google Drive and other Google servers who handle all of this stuff, and you just need a small server which will handle requests for billing and for some other stuff. So and you don't pay anything for Google Drive.
Okay.
For now.
Yeah. Did you hear about that accident that happened to one of the companies that used FireBase? And then FireBase increased price for them 10 times more.
Oh.
70 times.
70 times.
No, I haven't heard this, but I'll Google it just after the presentation.
This is like third-party service dependency.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Can you implement server-side rendering using FireBase?
No.
Okay.
And that's the problem. So as I told you, if you use serverless, you lose server-side translations.
Okay.
Do they have any idea how to substitute server-side rendering or how to implement it in future?
I haven't heard about it.
Okay, thank you.
By the way, there is a framework, Serverless, built on top of AWS Lambda.
Yeah.
Okay. Does it have any of the like abilities that FireBase suggests?
Oh, I haven't read about it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Great.